Hey guys, how you doing? Finally did some shopping on Friday, and figured I'd show you what I got. Now, got a bunch of stuff, but for you hard rock and metal guys, unfortunately I didn't really find anything in that vein. So I figured to keep you interested, let me turn up a little bit. I thought I'd play a little of this in the background. This actually I got a couple months ago. This is Axe. Now this band was around initially from about 79 to 83, 84. I guess initially what happened was the rhythm guitar player died in I believe a car crash, and the band split up after that. Sometime in the late 90s they got back together, and apparently because at that point nobody had the rights to the 4 albums that they did put out to release them on CD. The current version of the band recorded a lot of the bigger tunes from those 4 albums, put them on here, and then it's 2 extra songs. They have 2 songs from what would be whatever their next CD that they put out after this was. I don't have it. But this is it, and it's called 20 Years From Home, 77 to 97, Best of Volume 1. So, little stuff in the background. Now, I did 2 things on Friday. Would have liked to have done more, but I kind of ran out of time. The one took a long time. I checked out a couple Goodwills that are close by. There's one big one that I went to that from the outside looked like to be something like a really cool one that might have a lot of stuff. Well, first time we went there, we got there half an hour after they closed, so we couldn't go in. But I went earlier this time, and I walked in, and all I saw were these big flat bins on wheels, and literally everything was thrown into them. No shelving except for on the very side. They had some appliance stuff. Everything else was just dumped in these bins. So I walked around anyway, hoping to find something. I don't even think I found a CD. So that was a big waste of time. So I decided to go to the Goodwill that I know of, where I've actually gotten a few things before. And I did find 4 things there. Starting with this, fairly common, but was in new shape and never. I've got a few albums by him and figured I'd grab this. This is Dire Straits extended play. Actually says "Twisting by the Pool" on the edge. Played a couple tunes. I actually knew the "Twisting by the Pool" tune, so I was a little bit aware of it. I noticed these a little more fun tunes than what they would normally do. So this is kind of cool. This is from '83. That's a 4-song EP. Now this band had a hit in '79 called "Tired of Towing the Line." His name's Rocky Burnett. He's actually related to 2 famous '50s artists, Johnny and Dorsey, that both had passed away by the time this album was out, which was in '79 or '80 actually. And played a few songs off of here so far. It's kind of rocky with a little bit of throwback rockabilly mixed in, because Dorsey and Johnny were kind of a rockabilly artists, so it kind of fits into that. But this was actually in shrink. I don't like leaving shrink on because it rips when I put it in the thingies. So I took it off, but I mean the cover's in really good shape. There's a punch out hole, what have you. But for $1, and it's brand new condition wise, so what the heck. Now this one I solely bought because of my dad, because my dad actually had an album by this person, so obviously this is a jazz record. This is a female singer named Anita O'Day. This is Swings Cole Porter with Billy May. This wasn't actually the one he had, but ironically enough, I believe the other one she was swinging on a swing. or something like that. At least had a green background. I don't remember. Haven't seen it in forever. So I hadn't actually heard what she even sounded like since I was a kid. So I figured a blind buy for $1. I played a couple tunes off it so far. She's a decent singer. I like the arrangements. They're pretty upbeat, and it's in pretty decent shape for being from the late 50s or whatever it is. So I bought that more for, you know, old time's sake as far as Dad's concerned. The last one I got, which apparently I got everything mixed up here, so give me a second here. Oh yeah, this stuff's all out of it. Oh well. What the heck is it? Alright, amuse yourselves. Alright, there we go. Never mind. Alright, this one also harkens my dad. Now, as most of you know from Goodwill, you tend to find old stuff. This is one of my dad's favorite singers. I think I mentioned before, he actually took me to see him in the 80s. Good old Tony Bennett. Left My Heart in San Francisco. I actually have a few albums by him. As far as croony type jazz singers, he's probably my favorite. The other jazz singers I like tend to be more adventurous jazz-wise and do scatting and more traditional jazz, and he's more of a pop jazz guy. But I really like Tony's voice. I like the depth of it and the fact that it's got some power to it. And a lot of the other guys just kind of, they're crooners. They just don't have a lot behind their voice. So I got this, and actually it's in really good shape. It's a 2i. It's the original sleeve. It's a stereo copy. What the heck for $1? Alright, now, second place I went to was one of those antique mall thingies. We found one about a month ago, not too far from where we are, down from the Outlet Mall off Las Vegas Boulevard on this side of town. And we went in for a little while, but my wife had foot surgery, so it was hard for her to walk around a while, so we didn't stay that long. But I did get to see that there were some booths there that had records, so I was actually alone this time when I went, so I figured I might as well check it out and really walk through the whole place and figure out what the heck's actually there, and see if I could find something interesting that wasn't outrageous price-wise. So I found a handful of booths that had some records. Most of them just had like a handful of records. Most of which were overpriced and didn't deserve it. You know, there'd be albums marked for $10. You pull the record out and it looks like somebody ran over it. So obviously I didn't go through those. There was a couple that had a lot of records that were actually like a small record store inside there. One of them just had mostly common stuff, and it was all priced at $7, $8. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. So I found one called Sin City Vinyl. Actually had a sign up in the back, like it was a little store, but nobody in it. And actually had a bunch of, they weren't really crates, they were kind of like almost like fabric or something. Almost like little laundry things, but they were album shaped. And they had marked what kind of music were in them and what have you. So I went through those, and they had a $3 one, a $4 one, and then they had them grouped by types of music and new arrivals and all that stuff. So, being that I was by myself, I went through all of it, and I grabbed a bunch of them, and let me see, that's not one of them. I wish I had put these in order in the first place. I'm telling a story and I'm screwing up here. Talk amongst yourselves. I know I said that already, didn't I? Anyway, oh, I see. I set this up backwards. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now, first one I found. Now, somebody else showed this. I don't remember who. But he also mentioned what a disturbing cover this was. This is Billy Cobham and George Duke, band, I guess, with big hands coming out of their heads. I don't know what that means exactly, but I believe it's all live. I haven't listened to the whole thing yet. But it sounds okay so far. There's a few vocal tunes that George Duke does. The one I listened to was an okay tune, but it had dumb lyrics. But I'm sure I'll at least like some of this. I think this was $4, but it's in really good shape. So there's that. Another $4 one. Now, I've gotten a few albums by this guy before. The other two I got were pretty good. And I've got a couple Country Joe and the Fish albums as well. So, I'd never seen this solo album before by him. Country Joe McDonald, Hold On, It's Coming. Nice, interesting cover, and then on the back, It Came, and that's what was left. Anyway, so this is an older one. It looks like it came out in like 70, 71. I think the band was even still together at this point. But I played a few songs off it so far, and it sounds pretty good. It's got a gatefold, but it's pretty plain. Just kind of has the songs and we played on and what have you, but it's still a gatefold. This is also in really good shape. Now for you 60s freaks out there, I know there's a handful of you. I've gotten a bunch of albums by this group. Over time, I've probably got 6 of them, I think, right by now. And this one, I think, was the last one they put out. And this is the one you don't see as often. I actually paid $6 for this, but it's in good shape, and I never see it. So this is Dave Clark 5, 5x5. Got a name written on the back, but for the most part the cover's in really good shape other than this. The funny thing about Dave Clark albums is they're possibly the shortest albums on the planet. Each side is between 10 and 12 minutes long, and 12's pushing it. And I don't know if they did it because they could increase the volume, kind of like on a 45 where it's spaced out more so it's louder. But you can literally put 2 Dave Clark 5 LPs on one normal LP and have them both fit, because that's how short they are. But still, I'm glad to have this. I think this one was 5. I have 2 Kate Bush albums. My brother had a bunch of them when I remember growing up, so I'm aware of the older ones. I know he had this one, Kick Inside, that's her first one. This is on the green EMI label, so it's not Harvest, but it's Next Generation, I guess. Also in almost brand new condition. That's the back. So that was kind of cool. This is one of the coolest things that I found, other than the coolest one, which I'm going to show last. German prog band Triumvirate, which is basically a German version of ELP because it was the same format, keys, bass, drums, similar type music. This is their first album, Mediterranean Tales Across the Waters. This is a German pressing, and this is almost brand new. I paid $4 for this. It's on the Harvest label. I wasn't expecting this. I like when I find stuff that I'm not expecting to find. That's the beauty about going to those places where you just go through random stuff and then you come across stuff that you wouldn't expect to buy, and then you buy it, and then you've got something you didn't expect you were going to have. And that's part of what I love about doing this. Alright, this one was for, I've got a few albums by this person. He's Keith Jarrett. He's a jazz piano player. It's called Arbor Zena, and it's on ECM. This one's actually kind of mellow, but it's a nice album. It's got some orchestration on it. So if you're not into mellow stuff, you probably wouldn't dig it. But, you know, I have a lot of records